Today we're going to unpack one of the most powerful, yet kind of invisible forces that shape the world we live in, Roman law. And if you think, oh, that's just ancient history, well, you are in for a surprise. Its DNA is literally running through the legal systems that millions, if not billions of us live under right now. I mean, really think about it. Concepts we take for granted, like contracts, property rights, even the idea of a law student's textbook. Where did that all start? Well, the answer lies more than 2,000 years in the past, right in the heart of the Roman Republic. And it all started with a system that was, well, anything but flexible. You see, to really appreciate the absolute genius of Roman law, we've got to start at the beginning. And way back then, the law wasn't this sophisticated tool for a global empire. Nope. It was a rigid, super formal set of rules built for a small agricultural society. And this is the foundation right here, the law of the 12 tables. Now, before this, the law was pretty much an unwritten secret, totally controlled by the elites. The 12 tables changed all of that. They put the law down in writing, stuck it in the public square for every single person to see. It was a totally revolutionary step towards having a systematic legal code.
And for its time, it was amazingly comprehensive. It covered the whole shebang, from civil procedure to crime. It even spelled out the insane amount of power a father had over his household, the patria potesta, which, and I'm not kidding, literally gave him life and death authority over his entire family. But as great as it had one huge critical flaw.
The 12 tables were built for a tiny, farm-based city-state, where pretty much everyone was a Roman citizen. But what happens when your legions start conquering new lands and your republic balloons into a massive empire? That rigid, citizen-only system just started to crack under the pressure. All of a sudden you're asking, okay, how does our law apply to a merchant from Syria, or a sailor from Egypt, or a farmer in Gaul?
So, faced with this sprawling, super diverse empire, the Romans did what they did best. They engineered a solution. And it was brilliant. They didn't just toss out the old law. Instead, they built this incredible new layer right on top of it.
This led them to a really smart dual system. On one hand, they kept the jus civile, that's the old, formal civil law just for citizens. But right alongside it, they developed something new, the jus gentium, or law of peoples. This was way more flexible, more common sense, based on ideas of natural justice, and here's the key. It was designed to apply to anyone in the empire, citizen or not.
Now, this amazing adaptability didn't just happen overnight. It was driven by three main innovations. First, you had the praetor, a super powerful judicial magistrate. Second, you had the jurists, and these guys were basically the world's first professional legal nerds. And third was the ongoing development of his universal law, the jus gentium.
The praetor's role was especially brilliant. Get this, each year the new praetor would issue an edict, post it in the forum, and basically announce the legal rules he was going to follow. This meant the law could evolve year after year, responding to new problems without having to pass a bunch of new legislation. It was, for all intents and purposes, an annual software update for Rome's entire legal operating system. How cool is that?
But, okay, fast forward a few hundred years. After all those annual updates, all those edicts, and tons of scholarly opinions from jurists, Roman law had become a victim of its own success. It was a huge, chaotic, and often contradictory mess, and this mess set the stage for one of the most ambitious legal projects in the history of the world.
And that's when this guy enters the scene. Emperor Justinian, way over in the 6th century AD. He's ruling from Constantinople long after the Western Empire had crumbled, and he's dreaming of restoring Roman glory. But he absolutely knew, that real power wasn't just won with armies. It had to be built on a foundation of order, justice, and clear, understandable law.
I mean, just try to picture the legal system Justinian inherited. It was buried under a literal mountain of documents. You had centuries of lex, that's the official imperial laws, and an even bigger, messier pile of jus, which were the brilliant but often conflicting writings of all those legal scholars. Trying to find the right answer to a legal question was nearly impossible. The whole system was grinding to a halt.
So his solution was his absolutely monumental undertaking, the Corpus Juris Civilis, or the body of civil law. He put together a special commission, and they worked to systematically organize everything. They broke it into three main parts: the Code, which collected all the imperial laws, the Institutes, which was basically a beginner's textbook for law students, and then there was the crown jewel, the Digest. And the result was nothing short of a masterpiece.
The Digest, in particular, managed to distill centuries of Roman legal genius, all those writings from legendary jurists like Alpinian and Papinian, into a single organized collection. You really can't overstate the impact of this project. It basically preserved an entire intellectual world that would go on to shape Western civilization. Some even say its legacy is second only to the Bible.
So Justinian creates this incredible time capsule of legal thought, but its real power, its true impact, wouldn't actually be felt for another 500 years, when it was rediscovered and basically lit the spark for the entire modern legal world.
And this is where Roman law gets its second life. 5 centuries after Justinian, a copy of the Digest turns up in Italy. And this one event sparks the creation of the first modern universities, starting in Bologna, which were founded for the specific purpose of studying this ancient text. This knowledge just exploded across Europe, leading to the reception of Roman law, and eventually it formed the basis for hugely important works like Napoleon's Civil Code in 1804.
And this isn't just dusty old history. Today, the direct descendants of this Roman tradition form the legal bedrock for a huge chunk of Europe. The national legal systems of France, Germany, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, and even Scotland, which has a totally different system from the rest of the UK, are all built on this Roman foundation.
So here's the ultimate takeaway. Most of the world operates under one of 2 major legal systems: common law, which you find in places like England and the US, and civil law. That entire civil law tradition, the one used all across Europe, Latin America, and parts of Asia and Africa, traces its core principles, its structure, and even its vocabulary right back to the work of those Roman jurists and Emperor Justinian.
So it really leaves you with a fascinating thought, right? The very tools we use to organize our complex societies, everything from the way a contract is structured to the rights of a property owner, were first forged in ancient Rome. It's an ancient legacy that is, in a very real and tangible way, still holding our modern world together.